All right, guys. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just go over the quiz corrections for this side. The other quiz, I already gave you the answers in class, and they're pretty self-explanatory. If you had an error on there that I didn't cover in class, you should be able to look at your notes and figure out what you did wrong. Or you could talk to a friend, or you can text me or email me, or send me a message on Schoology. On this quiz, this side I went over in class. You could go to the video that I made under the folder Parent Graph Toolkit to get the correct solutions. Make sure you're doing your your corrections on one side and your reflections on the other side in your notebook. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over here real quick in the next hopefully 7 minutes these problems. Okay, so number one, so you have two different versions, so I'll try to go through both versions at the same time. Okay, so for version A, number one is not a function because this does not pass the vertical line test. Does not pass the vertical line test, so it's not a function. This one also does not pass the vertical line test, so it's also not a function. Okay, number two, remember a function, every x has to have only one y. Every x has to have one y. One x cannot have two y's. No, that would not work. So here, every x has one y. Every x has one y. You don't see x come out twice with two different y's. So this is the answer here, and the same reason we have the same answer here. Okay? Here, find a function f of a when that's the function. So what you're going to do, all you're going to do is you're going to actually type a minus 4 into the argument. So wherever you see x, you're going to put a minus 4. So what you're going to do is instead of f of x equals x squared minus 3, right? If you had f of like 4, you would literally plug in 4, right? But it's not 4, it's f of a minus 4. So instead, you're going to put in a minus 4 squared minus 3, right? And what is a minus 4 squared? Well, a minus 4 is really a minus 4 times a minus 4 minus 3, which is a squared minus 4a minus 4a minus plus 16. So it's just a squared minus 8a plus 16, and of course minus 3. So it's going to be a squared minus 8a plus 13. And so the answer is D. Okay, D. I think it was the same question for this one, so the answer was, again, D. All right, looking at number 4, the domain of the function. Okay, the domain of the function here. The domain is whatever x values I could plug in and get a y value answer. Well, the domain, the only restriction on my domain is that I do not want that to equal 0, right? So x minus s squared minus 1 cannot equal 0, which means I'm going to factor this. This is a difference of squares, right? So this is x minus 1, x plus 1 cannot equal 0, which means that x cannot equal 1 and x cannot equal negative 1. So the answer was A. That's the same for the other version. Okay, number 5 is tricky. Okay, and it's kind of, I didn't quite go over this in class with you guys. So if the function is a cubed root, can I have a negative in a square root? Can I have a negative like that? Can I have a negative 9? No, right? No real solutions, right? What about a cubed root? Can I have a cubed root of negative 8? Yes, it's negative 2. Okay, because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 gives you negative 8, right? Because it's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is 8, and then negative times negative is negative, positive, negative, it becomes negative. So I can have even roots. So really, this can be positive or negative. Can it be 0 inside? Yes. So really, the answer is all reals. Okay, so the answer is actually A. I still gave you credit for D, but it actually can only be A. All right. Let's see, number 6. Okay, the answer you should have said an exponential graph increases when the base, good, is greater than 0. No, it has to be greater than 1. Okay, so you should say b is greater than 1. And the base is not a decimal because 10.5 is a decimal, but that doesn't work, right? So we want the base to be bigger than 0 but less than 1. Okay? Alright, the argument, you guys actually started to give me arguments. Like, you're like, well, some people argue that, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm asking for. The argument is just this part. So the answer would have been x plus 2. Okay? The argument for the other quiz would have been, the argument would have been just this part. So the inside of the function. So it's like the baby of the function, x squared plus 4. I'm actually going to have to explain the rest because I have a meeting that I cannot be late to. I'm going to have to explain the rest. Hopefully I will post it around 5 o'clock. Okay? Or, no, about 4:30. Alright, see you later.